Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Doki Doki Literature Cast, or Doki Cast. We are back after a long vacation, and we are ready to dive deep into so many good things about Doki Doki Literature Club. If you haven't seen the past 3 episodes, go check them out now. We broke down the entire game from Act 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now we're going to start getting into the nitty-gritty. We're diving deep into the lore and talking about the weirdest stuff we can think of. Today, we're starting with Project Libitina. And the great way to start this new series of diving into lore, just talking about deep diving of different character stuff, we have our very own special guest. His name is Elioy the Cow. He is a Doki tuber and a YouTuber in general, and a good guy. He's a good friend. Eli, say hello.
Hello. By the way, it's Eli Oy the Cow.
Nope, it's Elioy the Cow. That's his favorite way of going about everything is Elioy the Cow. So if you talk to him, it's Elioy the Cow.
Got it.
Only if you're a close friend.
But yes, Eli, he's posted a lot of cool DDLC content on his channel, so go subscribe. We'll put a link down in the description. You should be able to just click on his channel name in the little title thing where it's collaborated. It is.
Yeah,
go check him out.
The one video that got pushed just so happened to be the one where I showcased all of like the secrets and Easter eggs.
There you go, which I'm a fan of.
Even then, that wasn't even all of them.
There you go. There you go. Well, okay, guys. Well, before we get started, I hope y'all are doing good. It's been a minute. Y'all excited to talk about some Project Libitina?
Yeah, I'm hyped.
So in case you don't know, Project Libitina is kind of like a really interesting topic in the DDLC universe. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people think it's going to happen anytime now. Some people think it will never happen. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And you will see why as we kind of talk about it, because there's actually a lot of stuff in the game itself that mentions Project Libitina, that hints towards it. And it's a huge mystery. It's kind of like a really mini DDLC ARG, which is really cool. And honestly, I hope something does come out of it eventually. Anyways, so let's jump on in. I obviously have a bunch of questions for these guys. I actually sent them a whole bunch of links to kind of get them an idea of what I'm going to talk about. But let's start out with how Project Libitina became a thing within the DDLC universe, I guess. So I'm sure you all know, but and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this know. If you look in the files of DDLC, you'll see a lot of character files, or the .chr files. And if you go look at Sayori's file, it's this basically an audio file. And if you take the audio file, put it in a sonogram, it gives you a QR code. And if you scan that QR code, it takes you to a website called projectlibitina.com. And if you've never seen this website, there's not much there. It's pretty much this report, this medical report on a character named Libitina. So I want to start talking about that. Gentlemen, first off, what's your first thoughts on this? Well, I guess Project Libitina in general, this website, the information on it, anything. We'll go around. We'll start with Mason. How about you? What's kind of your first thoughts and ideas on this whole thing in general?
So there's definitely a lot to unpack. It seems like every time you're starting to understand it, there's always more information that you learn. It's like a never-ending rabbit hole. Were you specifically asking about the Sayori QR code website, or just everything?
And you can talk about the website in general, because it kind of all starts from the website. That's kind of where everything kind of branches off from. So yeah, so why don't we start there?
Yeah, the website, it pretty much establishes that this is some sort of like medical report, which is, if you watch any video talking about the Project Libitina Third Eye lore, they always talk about it being like some sort of medical research facility. And yeah, you can see just a lot of like information about the patient, and then also mentions stuff about opening your third eye, which is also a big thing. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I actually haven't paid too much attention to all this stuff in a while. I remember I was super invested when it first came out, though, like after DDLC Plus with the game theory videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what got a lot of people in on it. But you hit up on kind of all the main things. The third eye, which we will talk about because there's a lot of that talk in the game too. And just the weirdness of the medical port in general. Eli, what about you? What do you think about the website or just Project Libitina in general?
So I first learned about it from comment sections down below that I would see on Doki Doki videos. I saw them shortly after my playthrough of Doki Doki Literature Club. Then I watched some of MatPat's videos because we all know how much MatPat loves his theories and digging through game files and all that. So I was thinking, well, this is interesting, but if it was meant to be like the Doki Doki Literature Club sequel, then I was thinking, but the game literally closed itself to it can't have one, so what do you do? But then I was just thinking, well, it's still something that can be nice. And then it was just kind of one of those things to where I kind of convinced myself, I'm like, I kind of don't want it to happen, but I'm thinking, no, I think it would be cool if it happened. And it's like, I'm kind of just chill either way now, and I haven't really visited the website myself, but I've seen like videos of MatPat, so I pretty much know what Project Libertina is all about, with the whole people thinking that Yuri's Libitina and Monica wanting to be an effing hero.
Like I'm the only one who's not seen that video. Good grief. Okay. Mark, what about you, man? What are your first thoughts on Project Libitina and the website?
Project Libitina is very weird because, when Game Theory first made their video, I felt, and I know this isn't true, but I felt like at the time that he was the only person talking about it. At least big person talking about it. So then what happened was the entire community, like what happens with Five Nights at Freddy's, the same thing happened here. The entire community just decided, oh, what he said is true. Every single thing he said is 100% canon. We're going to go with his interpretation, regardless of whether or not it's right or wrong. And so the Project Libitina narrative kind of turned into a hero story for Monica being the hero and Yuri being the villain and all that stuff. And all because, and again, that might have been it. Game Theory could have been correct, but the problem was that it because his theories are so big and a lot of people watch his theories instead of the games. Even I am what's the word? Even I've done it sometimes, where I watch a video of his where I haven't seen the source material. So I get it, but my experience was everybody started just accepting what MatPat said as law, as biblical, even, and I just sat back like I don't get it. I don't see how this has anything to do with Yuri. I don't see how this has anything to do with Monica. Of course, DDLC Plus made it about Monica with the letters, which I guess we'll talk about another time. But
can't wait to get to that.
That'd be great. Yeah, can't wait. But yeah, I like Project Libitina. I wish Dan and his team didn't buy the, I guess we'll talk about it, but buy the copyright just to drop it. It kind of made it feel like they really did cancel it, when in reality he probably just lost interest or something, which is the worst thing ever for a DLC fan.
That is a possibility, but there's another thing I always thought of, and a lot of people aren't going to buy into this, and I got like nothing to back this up, but I kind of feel like it was in the game's files, but it wasn't actually meant to connect to Doki Doki in any way, shape, or form. Granted, I got like no evidence to support this, but it kind of feels like he added it in the files for a future project, but people took it as it's meant to be a sequel, but it actually wasn't meant to be. But like I said, I got like nothing to back this up. It's just, how I feel based on.
I mean, that's very possible, man. That's
a very good insight.
Yep. But like I said, I got nothing, so take it with a grain of salt.
Now, remind me, which CHR file character gets you to the Project Libitina website?
So that's Sayori's. So Sayori's
That's
ones with the audio
Sayori's, right.
file that, if you put it in the sonogram, becomes a QR code. Scan that, takes you to the website. And the website actually wasn't active until I think a day or a few days after the game's release. If I have to read, I don't remember exactly when, but it only became active shortly after the game became released. But no, I think what's really cool, and because I mean, Eli, this even fits in with what you're saying, is it was the way it was done, the way things were handled, and the information and the lack of information that was put out left it up to a lot of interpretation. So we saw things like Matt Patton, his theories. We saw a bunch of other theories. There's a whole Reddit page dedicated to Project Libitina and discussing and figuring things out. And then this possibility where it could have been another different style game. One thing I think really helped lean into that too is there was a lot of redacted information on the website itself. One of the more like commonly discussed and debated ones was the Libitina's full name, because you see her first name but not her last name, and it actually gives us a space, and you can kind of guesstimate what kind of name could go there. And a lot of people have said that the names Sayori, Monica, Alyssa, Rainer, and George all could fit within that last name, and all those names kind of somewhat tied in a way or another to different things within the game itself. But there was a lot of people just kind of throwing things out there, hoping things stick. Now, of course, there are some things that do connect it very well, and that is the talk of the third eye. Now, the website does bring up Libitina's kind of powers. Like, she talks about how she has these weird little powers revolving around a third eye. And the third eye also gets brought up a few times in the game. One of them being another CHR file, which is Monica's. This is funky little image thing that you can kind of decipher, and it basically has a short story that talks about the third eye. But there's also other things in it which really tie Yuri heavily into the third eye because of the portrait of Markov, which is why people like to tie Yuri into Project Libitina and the third eye. And I like the whole Monica versus Yuri thing. That I'm sure that came from somewhere. I don't know where. But what are your thoughts on everybody's thoughts on the third eye? Because I mean, it does get mentioned a few times within the game, within the files, within the stuff. Like, do you think that Project Libitina, the portrait of Markov, the third eye, do you think there's something there? Do you think there's actually some way to connect it all, or is it just kind of a Easter eggs within Easter eggs? We'll go opposite side. Mark, what do you think?
I, honest to God, have no idea what the third eye is.
It's a third eye. So I'm sure I'm probably gonna get butchered in the comments for explaining this poorly. But the third eye is like a chakra type thing, where it's kind of like I said, sorry for butchering the explanation. It helps you with like mental powers, pretty much. Unlocking your third eye, helping you with like psychic like powers. And it gets mentioned a few times within the game, off, like, not like straight up, look, here it is, but like little offhanded subtle things here and there. And like I mentioned, it's in the Monica.chr file, and things like that. But hey, look, the fact that you don't know, that shows you how good they hit it. But what about you, Eli? What
Is
do you
this
think
the third
about
eye?
it? You know what? It could be. It could be. We don't
be
know.
a
That
third
could
eye.
be Libitina for all we know.
It could very much be your dog. Okay, so first of all, don't mind me if I'm like doing this with my headphones. I was making sure my voice is not too
you're all
loud
good, man.
because I got a parent that's asleep. But so my thoughts on the third eye are, if it is going to be related to a Doki, it's definitely got to be Yuri, because she's the one that has the Portrait of Markov book. Obviously, they're doing something with that. Well, I mean, they were going to do something with that book because Monica mentions in Act 3, well, hey, so about that book you're reading with Yuri, and then she just stops herself and she just never gets to talking about it. So it's like there's definitely something that was at least planned there with the book. And like I said, if it was going to be any Doki, it'd be Yuri. But I kind of also feel like that it's not any of them, and that was meant to be like some sort of mysterious character, kind of similar to Dr. Wisteria in Sunagari Chess School. I know some of y'all probably haven't heard of that yet, but Tanner knows what I'm referring to. So that's kind of what I felt about Libitina and stuff is that I don't think it's really any of them. It could just be a whole new entity altogether.
It could be. I have noticed a lot of DDLC fans will draw art of her as a separate character and not as Yuri. Now, there's some that do tie it together. And also, for Eli was saying, Tsunagari Chess School is another psychological horror visual novel that was heavily inspired by DDLC, and it had a lot of secrets on it. He has a video on it. I have a couple videos on it, and you can probably find it anywhere. So who knows? We may make Mason and Mark play it. That'd be fun, too.
We have to make it play it.
What, Mason?
I'm down to play.
Look, there you go. He's down to play it. We're gonna. It's fun. It's fun. It's actually got a pretty hard fight. I'm gonna be real. Anyways,
you can run it. I can play it.
Yeah. Look, we got it.
The fight's actually not hard once you know what you're doing.
Well, once you know what you're doing, but when you get thrown in there randomly, man, I got my.
That's how any fight is. Just
well, yeah, that's fair enough. Just like any other RPG.
Mason, what about you? What are your thoughts on the third eye and like the portrait of Markov and all that?
So I'm gonna be honest, I can kind of agree with Mark. I've very little experience what the actual like third eye meaning is, so I don't know. I'm not very smart, but hey, I do know that has something to do with Yuri's book. I know that's like the big thing about it, and I find it kind of hard to understand. I know, like again, I'm gonna bring up the game theory video, where I know one of the big things was Yuri had something to do with it. I thought what he said is that the three Dokis, other than Monica, were like needed to be saved, and then Monica was supposed to be this hero who's supposed to save them, and she's like the nurse or whatever.
She's the nurse.
That's what I thought they said.
I need to watch this video. Good grief!
So like some.
You know what we should do? We should do an episode where we react to the game theory videos.
Honestly, we should just be doing that right now.
I'm down. Look. So, I'm glad we keep, it's kind of cool that the two of you are a little less knowledgeable on the third eye aspect, because, like I said, that really goes to show how much they really kind of made it hidden. And if you weren't really looking for it and really kind of like wanting to see it, the less likely you were to are going to find it. We keep bringing this up a few times. This got brought up a couple times already, but the portrait of Markov was actually trademarked by Team Salvato for a video game.
Oh, that's right, it was, wasn't it?
And
I thought it was.
And it was trademarked, honestly, not long after DDLC was dropped. Like the game itself was
2018.
Dropped. It was around that time. I'd have to look at I sent them the link to the actual trademark. Sadly, though, that the trademark has been abandoned because nothing has happened with it. Now, they did renew the trademark once, but I believe it was either last year, 2025, or 2024, where it got once again re-entered the abandoned status because nothing was.
It was last year.
It was last year. So,
yeah, because I remember you sent a screenshot of it a year ago.
So it was re-abandoned, which is interesting because if you look on the Team Salvato website, it has a bunch of their upcoming projects, and it has 2 of them are specifically called out to being visual novels. And what's really interesting is one of them being a visual novel in the similar style to DDLC, and that's something that I think is really interesting wording, I should say, because why would you bother saying that if it's not connected in some way? So I'm wondering if that game was supposed to be the portrait of Markov or something similar, and they just kind of are, I don't know, taking their time with it. They changed it for some reason. I don't know. What do you think? With all this information I've just given, what are kind of y'all's thoughts? And I'll just kind of leave this up in the air for whoever wants to talk. Mason, go ahead.
All right, I've been begging to throw my 2 cents in on this. So I just have a couple theories why. And Eli, when you just brought that up, with like your theory about it not having anything to do with DDLC, it really got me thinking. But the first thing I thought is, the trademark could have just got abandoned because they changed the name of it. Like maybe they're gonna name it Portrait of Markov, and then now they're gonna change it to something different because maybe they didn't want everyone to know that they're coming out with this exact game, so they like are trying to like trick us. Like they're not doing it. and
Possibly.
then like kind of like that, because if they did come up with a different name, they wouldn't keep that trademark. But then
Yeah.
why would they renew it, which is also a thing to think about. And something else,
Yeah.
what if they were just doing this all as like an advertisement? What if it has nothing to do with DDLC at all, but they knew they were gonna make another game that had to do with this, and it's like, you know what, we're gonna throw a bunch of like random Easter eggs that's gonna
Basically
point
what
towards
Eli
this,
said earlier.
and
That's what I
then
was thinking about.
Yeah, interesting.
It could be. This could just be one giant troll to get us like people continuously talking. And let's be real, it's worked. People
Yeah.
still bring it up. Like
Yeah.
people still wonder
I
about it.
mean, I mean, the whole idea of Project Libitina is like it's not going to be. At least I assumed it wasn't going to be another visual novel or whatever. It was going to be something different.
Definitely not.
So like I like it could have been an action game, could have been an RPG or whatever. It could be a JRPG for all I know. But like it had when he released the two unannounced game when on his website, you know what I'm talking about, right? He has two unreleased games. One of them says it's an unreleased visual novel. One of them is something else that's unrelated to DDLC or whatever. Either of those could still be Project Libitina or Portrait of Markov or whatever. And
Yeah.
because like I always assumed that whenever it came out, it wasn't going to be connected. It would be referenced more like it would be something that they would be like, hey, here's a lot of food for you theorists out there. You guys can eat and let us know if you see any hints or clues and whether or not it connects to the DDLC. I never thought it was going to be an overt sequel. Like it's not going to be an obvious sequel.
I would have to kind of agree with you. I would think it would be within the same universe, especially since DDLC Plus has come out, that it kind of opens the door to a larger universe type thing.
Yeah.
What's also interesting to me when it comes to like, is another game going to be connected to DDLC at all? Is a while back when I was making a couple of videos, I was making a video on this this interesting text that was found within DDLC Plus's files that was data mined, and I reached out to one of the developers on Team Salvato. And I basically asked him, like, hey, I got a question for you, if you don't mind answering. It's about some files that were found within DDLC Plus. And he basically said, he goes, yeah, I don't mind answering any questions you may have, but I can't talk about any upcoming games. Which is interesting, because I was talking about some potential DDLC stuff, not necessarily just any game he had. So that made me kind of wonder, is like, is that like a subtle hint that there is something somewhat connected to DDLC there, since they're not wanting to, don't want to talk about it? Maybe I'm just spitballing here, but I mean, if we're putting our crazy hats on, I
think you're onto something though, honestly. I really think you will.
Look, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. It's
I think part of what kind of brings it on the table is the emails and the metaverse stuff, and maybe it's one of the universes, like Yuri's book being potentially one of them, and it's not necessarily in the Doki's universe of the base game or side stories, but it's in its own universe that maybe they can include them as characters, but like they're almost completely different characters and whatnot, and maybe they could just make Yuri Libertina. I mean, what the heck? She definitely seems to fit that well. But me personally, I don't know. It just kind of felt odd to me, that this was something that was said multiple times only for it to just not happen, especially when you do the restart thing in Doki Doki Plus and it mentions it. I'm thinking, well, shoot, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything with it. But like you said, they could just be, throwing it in to throw it out, to throw it in to throw it out, just to kind of throw us off and stuff. That's possible. But me personally, I kind of felt like I was more so in denial about it, plus the other stuff in the emails, and I was also a little less mature at the time because I got into it in 2023, but with a more mature mind and understanding it all, it's like, yeah, they're definitely hinting at something. I just don't think it's going to be what people are expecting it to be, DDLC and Monica being an F. Like, I don't think it's going to be that personally. They could add Easter eggs and stuff, but...
I can definitely see also teams of authors just being cautious too, because I mean people really like DDLC. So if they were to connect another game to DDLC, people will automatically compare it, automatically think about it,
Yeah.
and they want to be cautious on how they go about it. I don't know.
I think my main issue behind the whole thing with it just being a sequel in general is with the way that the base game ended. To me, it kind of felt like it's kind of impossible to make a sequel out of that unless you said another Monica kind of just got out. But I don't know. To me, that kind of feels like a vague thing more than it is something that you can prove. But I mean, more than I know, I guess. I'm kind of not really good when it comes to theories and stuff.
Look, we everybody has their own ways of figuring theories out. Don't put yourself down. So let's talk about some stuff that's kind of got brought up. Is who is Libitina? Now, has everybody here seen the kind of image of Libitina, the kind of generally accepted image of Libitina?
Yes, actually, I have a saved image right now that's not the loaded image. I have the original image. Because the loaded image is what is floating around. I can send you both to show you the difference. But one of them is like really bloated. It looks like you're viewing it from a muzzle or whatever. The other one, I did find one where it's flat. It looks like that was the actual original image. I can send that. I can send both if you want. But yeah.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about, those who are watching at home, if you look at the Natsuki.chr file, it's this really strange JPEG image. And if you take that image and you invert it and you slap that sucker on I think it was like some shape, some type of mapped shape thing. I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe a cone. I don't remember. It
was a cone.
It was a cone. It turns it into a young girl with white hair and no pupils.
Wait, hold on. What you just said, hold on. If that came from Natsuki's file and not Yuri's, what if Libitina's Natsuki?
Oh my.
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Like, when you said that, I was like, wait a minute. If that came from Natsuki's file, then...
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the crazy thing. Is the theories.
Like, why doesn't Yuri have any character file? Because we have Monica for like the QR code, Natsuki's the picture, and then Sayori's the audio.
What?
Yuri, the main one associated with it, has nothing. Or I just miss it.
Nothing that has to do with that, which is kind of interesting. I think... Did
we just debunk this theory?
Yeah, we just solved the case.
Maybe.
I believe the Yuri's CHR file is the creepypasta that Dan Savato wrote a long time ago, which is it's this really short story about a girl who killed somebody, who planned to kill somebody. I believe that's what that is, which maybe you could connect those, but I don't really think so. So that is pretty interesting.
I feel like that's kind of a far-fetched to connect them.
Yeah. Anyways, on the fact of that image of the white, what is y'all's thoughts on the image itself? Because compared to the other characters we have seen, the 4 Dokis, the even the unreleased image of the MC, this is very different. But what are your thoughts? And it's very creepy too, with no pupils and things. What are your thoughts on that, Mason? What do you think? You go first.
Yeah, definitely the character file image is a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. And when you put it around the cone or the whatever it was, I'm looking at it right now. It definitely looks pretty unnerving. And yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. To get this straight, this is what people believe is going to be is like the test subject, and
people believe this is Libitina. That's probably the most popular theory of what she looks like. It's not the only one, which we'll talk about in a second, but it is up there. I mean, in fact, it's what I put as our thumbnail. So, I mean, it's pretty widely accepted that this is Libitina. And if you look on like the DDLC subreddit, I've seen randomly, people will post fan art of a girl with white hair, and that's their Libitina. Like, they look just like this one.
I see.
But what about you, Eli or Mark? What are your thoughts on this kind of the look and how different it is compared to the other art we really see in the game? And outside.
Hero buying. I'm just kidding, not hero buying.
She does not look young.
Well, young, like I would say.
No, I'm just saying. Everybody says she looks
20s.
like a young girl, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. She looks like she's in her 40s.
Wow, I don't know about 40s.
Maybe 30s. I don't know.
I agree with you, Mark. She definitely doesn't look young at all. She definitely looks like a much older woman, kind of like Mother Gotham from Tangled.
Definitely the uncanny eyes and the overall.
I was just like, she got like cheekbone wrinkles. She's got the neck wrinkles. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, man. That's.
I like it. This is where this guy's ultimate debate right here. Full episode.
Oh yeah.
How old is Libitina? In fact,
how old is she?
Those of you watching right now, how old do you think she is? I'm in the camp that she's younger. I think teens, maybe early 20s. But obviously, I'm the odd one out here. What do y'all think? We haven't even asked a question here. What do y'all think? Let us know in the comments below.
That's a fair point because people can sometimes look older than they actually are. So you do got a fair point there. Though I would say she's about like 1,002 billion thousands of years old.
Probably.
Not really.
Well, for sure, I can look it up right now. You know what? Google can tell me.
There we go. The ultimate answer to life is Google.
Watch. I'm gonna do what my mom does unknowingly and ask the AI and then take it as possible.
My bad, didn't mean to cut you off though.
You're fine.
I say, the duck version because with the duck version, you can have the Doki's hair when you search them up, so maybe that's the ultimate source of it all.
DuckDuckGo, yeah, that's right. DuckDuckGo has that cool Easter egg, which Mark Mason, you did a little video on that.
Yeah, someone brought it up in my comment section, or did I see it on Twitter or X, whatever we're gonna call it now?
The AI tells me she is thousands of years old. Looks like Lori was right.
There you go. Thousands of thousands. Look, there you go. That's the problem solved. Thank you.
Of
AI.
course, there's a refresh button that everyone ignores. That means it's all pointless because then it's just going to say something else. But
you're not wrong.
Yeah, no.
It's totally the source. It's never wrong. Google is
never wrong. And then typing in the image, and feeding it the image said it's 10 years old. The image. So.
Oh well, the image itself probably, but I hope that's what that's going for.
I hope so too.
I guess this is what's really cool about all this is there's so much room for interpretation. Because if we are seeing her as a person, then she would definitely have an age. She'd be young, old, duh. But if she's seen more as a program like Monica and the others are, then who knows how old she is. So here's what we're gonna kind of throw a little bit of an interesting wrench in the works, which I feel like I'm not real sure how many people know about this. So there is obviously DDLC's art was done by Satchley. I think we all know that. I think we have seen multiple of her work. She works with Serenity Forge now, and she keeps on posting even more promotional DDLC work. But there was a drawing that was posted by Satchley called Fear. Now, I've sent y'all the link. This was posted on DeviantArt, and this is an image of a young girl who is basically in a medical gown. She has like a medical ID thing on her. She has a mask, has wires coming out of her back, and she has long, dark hair. And people say she looks pretty similar to Yuri. Now, what's really interesting, if ignoring just everything else, if you look at the description, she actually says the following: "Not my usual style, but I love trying out new things. Also, this has nothing to do with Libitina."
I just saw that.
Which means it absolutely might.
Which means it absolutely might. Mark, you're
I
right.
think they're going to trick us with all of this. Like the trademark.
I mean, it could be. That's what's super interesting, because here's another thing. What if this is her? What if this, if this is a thing, this could be Libitina, and the white-haired version of her could be an avatar of Libitina that's stuck within the VMs, the metaverse, whatever you want to say out there, their computer system. If you want to tie in the DDLC Plus, well, what if, and that's it? What if that is an actual thing? And maybe that's how these two things could coincide with each other, because the art, two completely different art styles. The looks, they look completely different than each other, and it's just it's interesting. But they could very, very well be connected. What are your
possibly
thoughts?
So, also, if you notice me kind of giggling a little bit, especially when you were speaking, this talk just made me think of another discussion that was kind of related to this, and it was just giving me the giggle, so I do apologize for that. That's another thing about me. Sometimes I'll just giggle, but anyway, so, I kind of feel like that maybe it's possibly an avatar, maybe just a beta thing that you see, like you'll see early beta sketches that don't end up in the final product. It could be one of those things.
You're not wrong.
Now, as to whether or not the story that Dan Salvato wrote years back connects to Project Libitina, like I said, it's probably like kind of a stretch. Like, I don't know if you can necessarily compare with them other than them both seeming like edgy stories, but it's like, I mean, I say it's about like a 50-50.
It's interesting. It's an interesting thought, that's for sure. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to Libitina that I kind of could think of, and obviously after this, if y'all have anything, feel free to bring it up, is the name Libitina itself. So Libitina is an actual word, obviously. But it's also an actual name. So apparently, which I actually learned this today, Libitina is an ancient Roman goddess of funerals and burials. And her name pretty much is a monotony of death. It means death. And apparently in the Roman mythology, undertakers were known as, and I could be pronouncing this wrong, Libitinari. And I think that is really interesting too. Because let's be real, DDLC's got a lot of death. A lot of death in it. And
well, technically, there's like, let's see, hang on. Technically, there's only like 3-4 different death scenes if you count the delete Sayuri at the very beginning of the game.
Well, dang, Eli, how much is a lot for you?
How can you say that and not hear yourself?
I mean, I think 2's a lot, but maybe not. Eli,
I think 1's a lot.
At least 20, or it's barely a number at all. I mean, come on.
Hey, in World of Warcraft. See how long it takes for it to say that so much.
I mean, hey, they got away with like 19 in a PG movie called Cars 2, so I mean, that's a lot though.
Well,
I mean, if you want to get technical, Eli, every time you...
If it's not a lot, here's a good segue. If it's not a lot, why was it taken off of Google Play the other day?
Just talk about that.
Oh, well, I mean, I remembered that, but it's like, I mean,
you're not wrong. Google Play did take off the DDLC because it was traumatic, I guess. A lot.
I just want to point out, apparently that game is too much, but other things that are on there apparently aren't. I'm not going to say what it is on the podcast, but I'm sure y'all know what I'm saying.
I have a feeling it'll be back. I have a
totally.
I'm sure they'll be working to get it back.
When people riot enough, they'll add it back.
Yeah, a lot of that. It's just funny.
It's ironic though, because the Android was like the first phone you could play DDLC on, because they made a port, like not official, but like people modded it and made a port on the phone, which is just, ironic in and of its own way.
It's really funny.
But yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on the name Libitina and the word and it having to do with death and funerals and burials? Do you like? Are we spitballing some more here, or is this a potential connection thing? What do y'all think about that?
I like it. I like the name. I like how Roman it sounds. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
No, whatever you want to say. I mean, it does sound pretty
All right.
Roman. I would hope so.
I mean, I would say that, like, considering that signing those words, yeah, like, you know, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, it's this mysterious character that's meant to be evil and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can definitely, that's pretty much all I have to say about Libitina is it could be one of the Dokis, I don't think it is, but it could be, it could not be, but it's definitely the ultimate bad guy if that ever comes to light.
Either this, yeah, it could be, you know, the villain of this what's the word for it? I know specifically they mentioned virtual machines or VMs, so like DDLC, and then all
The
this
entire
other
universe
shenanigans.
is, yeah, the entire universe of the metaverse.
Yeah, so
The
either
villain
yeah,
of the metaverse, there you go.
it could be something to do with that, or I don't know. I feel like the name they probably picked, I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with like anything. They could have just wanted a name that sound kind of edgy because it has to do with death and cemeteries and stuff like that. So like, let's pick that. I mean, once again, look at DDLC on the Google Play Store. That didn't age very well.
Here's my final little thing that I'm going to throw out there. Here's theory. My theory hat coming on. Okay. So with DDLC Plus, we got a lot of stuff added with DDLC Plus within the metaverse, right? Think what you want about it, but it did. And it's canon, it's official within the game. We know the metaverse is a company, and this company is using the VMs to test things and kind of play in their own way God. They're playing God in their own way. What if this character we are seeing, this Libitina, which we are calling her, is the CEO or the original owner of this company, of Metaverse, who is using the money gathered from this company to perform underhanded experiments within the VMs to find a way to create or preserve life, specifically her life, because she is sick, as we saw from the image, as we see from the report, whatever it is. So they could be testing on these, like, you know, children. They could be tweaking some things, playing around, playing God to see if they can transfer consciousness into the VMs or whatever it is, something crazy, like your really weird, insane, like corporate sci-fi, like action movie type stuff. That would explain why this potential image of the girl who dark hair who looks sick looks nothing like the Libitina we see within the game. That could be an avatar. It could be, or this Libitina could be like somebody they're experimenting on, because there could be some other weirdness there. Who knows? It's some weird. There's a few holes, but you never know. With the way things going, you could really pull at strings, tie things together that don't belong together, and really have a field day with this, with the way they've done it, and which makes it really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, okay, guys. Well, that's all I had question-wise, event-wise. I want to talk about Project Libitina. Any final thoughts, final words on Project Libitina? Anything we've mentioned with it, or just you know, just stuff in general when it comes to how they've kind of sprinkled this throughout the entirety of the DDLC universe and whatnot? Anything like that? Any final thoughts?
I kind of wanted to bring up. I know a lot of people seem to think it's going to be a direct sequel, and yeah, I definitely agree with the point that that's kind of very unlikely or actually impossible, because they ended the game off very well and at a point where you can't really have a sequel unless if they really wanted to like rewrite the entire ending, which would just be silly in my opinion. But yeah, definitely in DDLC Plus with like the Metaverse company, they introduced, I don't know, my thing is, why would they introduce like two different virtual machines? They like DDLC 1 and then this other one if they weren't gonna do anything with it. Like maybe they're just it's just a big troll and they want to point and laugh at us for trying to come up with these theories. But even the trademark, why would you waste money continuously renewing a trademark just to troll everybody? Unless if you really did lose interest in the project, which yeah.
No, you're not
Highly
wrong.
possible.
There's so many unknowns. That's what's both frustrating and really exciting. Is there's so many unknowns. There's so many possibilities. Which, to be fair, it's what keeps things alive. It keeps people wondering. It keeps people questioning, looking for the smallest breadcrumbs that they can find. And you know what? I'm here for it. I really am. Anything else, guys? Any other final thoughts?
Well, I do want to give a moment to Eli and ask him, what did you feel about the game as a whole, and what's your feelings on Doki Doki?
No, I love Doki Doki Literature Club. It's a game that, I played it in 2023, in February. It's a very special game in my heart. I love it a lot. I do have some criticisms for it, but more on that on a different podcast. But overall, I absolutely love the game. Monica is just a fantastic... Some people will just call her antagonist, others will call her a villain. And the other girls are just amazing, like Natsuki being relatable in terms of enjoying things that other people will see as for kids versus how you still feel about it today. Sayuri being the most relatable character in my book, and Yuri being the bookworm and just having the joy of reading and stuff. And there's like so much more, but we'd be here forever if I went on and on about each one.
Yeah.
There you go. It definitely has a special place in a lot of people's hearts, that's for sure. And I think that's what makes it so grand. And I think that's what makes people love theorizing and wanting more. Whether it's an entire sequel or an Easter egg in another game, that's what's really cool about it. Well, guys, there you go. Another episode down. The first one with a special guest. It's only going to get better and better. We're going to try to have special guests on for most future episodes. When we talk about character breakdowns, reacting, play, whatever it is, we're going to try to have special guests on. And hopefully we'll have reoccurring special guests as well. So you will more than likely see Eli again. Once again, please go give Eli a subscribe and go spam Sayori is not better than Natsuki in his comments. And and yes, and remember, it's Eliori to Cal, not Eli Ori to Cal. Anyways, guys, this has been the Doki Doki Literature Cast, or the Doki Cast, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
How dare